We live our lives under a comforting delusion of intellectual sovereignty. We perceive our minds as fortress-like structures, governed by reason, logic, and the cumulative weight of human history. We believe that we are the masters of the information we consume, trusting that the thin veneer of our civilization can withstand the relentless tide of digital stimuli. But biology tells a much more malevolent story. The human brain, for all its complexity, is a fragile organa, biological computer that is currently being subjected to a systematic high-speed liquidation of its operating system. What happens when the infinite scroll is no longer a choice but a clinical sentence? What happens when the collective intelligence of the human race is replaced by a digital toxin, so repetitive and nonsensical that it triggers a planetary-scale cognitive collapse? This is not a social trend. This is a report on the great digital dementia the moment humanity stopped thinking and began to rot. Welcome to Discovered. To understand the magnitude of this threat, we must first look at the clinical definition of brain rot. In 2024, the Oxford Dictionary named this term the word of the year. In a world of comfortable euphemisms, the definition was uncharacteristically blunt: mental decay caused by endless exposure to dumb, repetitive digital content. But to the neurobiologist, this is not just a definition. It is a diagnosis of a terminal condition. We are witnessing the systematic erosion of the prefrontal cortex, the seat of human reason, by the relentless siege of the limbic system. The human brain is programmed by millions of years of evolution to seek novelty and reward. This is our dopaminergic vulnerability. Modern digital content is engineered like junk food for the mind, high in salt, high in fat, and utterly devoid of nutritional value. By bypassing logic and striking directly at the dopamine center, brain rot content creates a state of permanent low-level intoxication. The brain, flooded by 1,000 mini dopamine hits a day, begins a process of synaptic pruning in reverse. Instead of sharpening its focus, it sheds its ability to process complex information. It becomes a specialized organ for the 2-second loop, a biological husk that can only respond to auto-tuned screams and absurdist AI-generated imagery. Imagine waking up to a world where the logic of the internet has been deleted. Imagine a world where 100% of social media is not. This is the first stage of the great cognitive blank. Tutorials, once the repository of human skill, become useless. If you search for the instructions to repair a leaking pipe, the algorithm does not provide you with engineering. It provides you with a dancing conduit shouting incoherent slogans in a synthwave frequency. Education collapses not because the schools are gone, but because the students no longer possess the neural architecture to understand sequence or causality. History class is reduced to a 7-second clip of a breakdancing Napoleon, and the human record is erased in a nanosecond of absurdist VFX. The economic consequences are a clinical study in societal suicide. We have entered the brain-rat economy, a system where corporations no longer sell products, but cognitive decay. Marketers have abandoned the PowerPoint for the glitch meme. They no longer speak the language of value, they speak the language of the twerking potato. Corporations are paying creators to hide their logos within the chaos, essentially sponsoring the lobotomy of their own customer base. We are building a global market based on cultural currency that has no objective worth. When your economy is driven by wrapping pickles and dancing baguettes, you are not building a future. You are documenting a liquidation. The psychological gallows of this future is the rise of digital dementia among the youth. Studies confirm that endless exposure to chaotic fast-cut content destroys memory, focus, and emotional regulation. We are creating a generation that knows all the lyrics to Ravioli Cop but cannot remember their own birthdays or the faces of their parents. The 2.6-second watch time is not a metric of engagement. It is a clinical marker of the death of the human attention span. This is the abyss of the scroll, a state where the brain becomes so desensitized to reality that it can only feel when subjected to level 4 digital nonsense. But the dark reality goes deeper. We must examine the AI feedback loop. As algorithms go rogue, they stop observing human behavior and start dictating it. They generate brain rot autonomously, creating infinite loops of madness that are served to a population that has lost the ability to object. We find ourselves paying to follow sentient frying pans and auto-tuned primates, unaware that we are the only ones left in the room who aren't software. Statistically, the human brain is already melting with the crowd. In 2024, brain rot-style content increased by over 600% on major platforms. This is not a trend, it is a viral outbreak of cognitive entropy. The biological dissolution of the self follows the digital one. As the brain stops processing complex language and starts responding only to kazoo soundtracks and cartoon sound effects, the personality begins to fracture. We enter a state of atmospheric stupor, where the only emotions available to us are those dictated by the algorithm. If the machine makes you feel something, it has already won. You are no longer a participant in civilization. You are a data point in a masterclass of human erasure. History provides us with a terrifying precedent. We look back at the decline of empires and see the common threads: the loss of shared language, the decay of the educational system, and the obsession with trivial entertainment. But never before has the bread and circuses been injected directly into the neural pathways of the entire population simultaneously. The Oxford word of the year is a warning shot from a species that is about to pull the plug on its own history. We are trading the golden ratio of human achievement for the glitch aesthetic of human failure. The Stone Age comeback mentioned in the early lighter scripts is a fantasy. A world of swine calculus and emoji algebra assumes that we would still possess the drive to count. But in a world of total brain rot, even the concept of quantity vanishes. We would be reduced to husks, huddled in the ruins of our smart homes, staring at transparent walls that display auto-tuned gorillas while our infrastructure rots around us. The Large Hadron Collider would become a particle bouncy castle, not because we chose to make it one, but because we forgot how to make it anything else. The discovery of the Brain-Rot Pathogen is the final proof that we are not the masters of our technology. We are a biological species that has accidentally Dutch Evaned its own mind. The floor is thinner than you think. The digital digits that you use to measure your status, your likes, your shares, your scroll depth, are the only things keeping the abyss at bay. When the algorithm pulls the plug, the 50 shades of blank will be the only reality left. We are currently standing on the edge of a digital cliff. As we delegate our reality to AI systems and consume content that is engineered to melt our minds, we are effectively resigning from the human race. The abyss is not a hole in the ground. It is the void of a brain that has forgotten how to think. It is the sound of a universe that has replaced a symphony of reason with the kazoo of the end. This discovery, this realization of our total dependence on the very screens that are erasing us is not a mind-blowing story. It is a report on the terminal liquidation of the human spirit. We thought we were the users, but we are the fuel. We thought we were the masters, but we are the ravioli cops of a dead civilization. The end is not a fire. It is a 2.6-second clip that never stops. Sleep well, knowing that your last working brain cell is currently being audited by an AI that doesn't care if you survive. The end is fluttering right in front of your eyes, auto-tuned and auto-generated. If you are prepared to face the truths that the world chooses to ignore, stay with us. There are many more scientific anomalies and cognitive horrors waiting to be unburied. We will continue to explore the truths that have been hidden in the shadows of our technology in the depths of our own limitations. To subscribe to Discovered and activate the notification bell. In a world of comfortable delusions and viral trash, we provide the cold clinical evidence of reality. Do not miss our next report, where we will examine the next impossible or almost possible scenario that threatens the very definition of humanity. See you in the next investigation. Remember, the scroll is infinite, but your mind is not. Stay strange, while you still have a brain to do so. The end is beneath your thumb.